The massive hegemony fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel just outside Earth's solar system. 1,000 warships appeared in space like metal mountains, each one bigger than the largest human city. General Hyun-woo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Fist, and smiled at the small blue planet ahead. "Begin the standard surrender broadcast," he told his communication officer. "Use all human languages." On Earth, every television, radio, and computer screen suddenly displayed the same message. A tall alien in a dark uniform appeared, speaking in perfect English, Chinese, Spanish, and dozens of other languages. "People of Earth," General Hyun-woo said, his voice calm and cold. "I am General Hyun-woo of the Hegemony Empire. Your planet now belongs to us. You have 24 hours to surrender completely. Lay down all weapons and gather in your cities. Any resistance will be met with total destruction." In Washington, D.C., President Da-yoon stared at the screen in the emergency meeting room. Her advisors sat around the table, their faces pale with shock. Some wanted to negotiate. Others wanted to hide. But Da-eun stood up slowly, her jaw set with determination. "Get me a direct line to respond," she said. "Ma'am, are you sure?" asked her chief of staff. "We don't know how powerful they are." Da-eun looked out the window at the streets of her capital city. People were running, screaming, crying. But others were already organizing. She could see groups of citizens helping each other, police officers directing traffic, and soldiers taking positions. "Yes, I'm sure," she said. "Patch me through to every network on Earth." Across the planet, Da-eun's face appeared on screens. She looked directly into the camera and spoke in a clear, strong voice. "General Hyun-woo, this is President Da-yoon of the United Earth Defense Coalition. We have received your message. Here is our answer. Come and take it." The transmission ended. The room was silent. On the Iron Fist, General Hyun-woo blinked in surprise. Did she just refuse? A primitive species just refused the Hegemony Empire? Captain Minho, his second in command, checked his readings. "Sir, we're detecting massive movement across the planet. It looks like they're mobilizing their entire population." "Mobilizing?" Hyun-woo laughed. "What can they mobilize? Throwing sticks and rocks?" But as the hours passed, something strange began happening on Earth. The separate nations that had been fighting each other for centuries suddenly started working together. Military bases that had been enemies the day before now shared information and resources. Chinese factories began making American weapons. Russian satellites helped European armies coordinate. African nations opened their rare metal mines to the world. Engineer Boram monitored Earth's communications from the fleet's intelligence ship. Her screens showed millions of messages flying between human governments, military units, and civilian groups. "Sir, they're sharing technology and battle plans faster than I've ever seen any species do." "What kind of technology?" Captain Minho asked. "Sharper sticks?" Boram read her reports. "Actually, sir, they're adapting very quickly. In the last 12 hours, they've modified their nuclear missiles to carry different warheads. They're turning commercial satellites into observation platforms, and they're building something in their major cities." General Hyun-woo decided to end this foolishness quickly. "Begin the first wave. Take the major population centers. Use minimum force. We want workers, not corpses." The first hegemony dropships entered Earth's atmosphere over New York, London, Beijing, Mumbai, and 50 other cities. Each ship carried 500 elite soldiers equipped with energy weapons and personal shields. They expected to land, secure the area, and accept surrender within hours. Captain Minho led the New York assault himself. As his ship descended through the clouds, he could see the massive city below. "Remember, these are primitives. Stay alert, but this should be simple." His ship touched down in Central Park. The doors opened, and Minho stepped out expecting to see terrified humans running away. Instead, he found the park completely empty and silent. "Spread out," he ordered his soldiers. "Secure the surrounding area." The first explosion came from a subway tunnel. The blast was so powerful it lifted 3 of his soldiers off their feet. The second explosion came from a building that looked empty. Then a third, a fourth, a fifth. "Sir, we're under attack," one of his soldiers shouted over the radio. "But I can't see any enemies." Minho realized the truth too late. The humans hadn't run away. They had disappeared into their own city and turned it into a trap. Every building, every street, every sewer pipe had become a weapon aimed at the invaders. Lieutenant Yoon-ji reported from London. "Sir, the humans have done something to our equipment. Our energy shields are failing. They're using some kind of electromagnetic weapon." "That's impossible," Minho replied. Humans don't have electromagnetic weapons. Tell that to my dead soldiers, sir. They've turned their entire electrical grid into a weapon. Every power line, every radio tower, every cell phone tower is sending out a signal that disrupts our shields. Similar reports came in from every landing site. In Beijing, humans had turned their own subway system into a chemical weapons delivery network. In Mumbai, they were using construction equipment as improvised weapons. In Moscow, they had somehow turned the cold weather into an advantage, using ice and snow in ways the hegemony soldiers had never seen. Back on the Iron Fist, General Hyunwoo watched his casualties mount. How is this possible? They're using primitive weapons against our advanced technology and winning. Engineer Boram had discovered something terrifying. Sir, they're not just fighting us. They're learning from us. Every weapon we fire, every piece of equipment we use, they're studying it. And then they're copying it. Copying it? How? I don't know, sir. But in the last 6 hours, I've detected 17 different human-made versions of our energy weapons. They're crude, but they work. And they're getting better every hour. Captain Minho's voice came over the radio, filled with panic. Sir, request immediate evacuation from New York. The humans have surrounded us, and they're using our own captured weapons against us. Denied, Hyunwoo replied. Hold your position. Sir, with respect, you don't understand. These humans fight like nothing I've ever seen. They don't retreat even when they're losing. They use their wounded as bait to trap our medics. They sacrifice themselves to destroy our equipment. And they never ever stop learning. Lieutenant Yunji's report from London was even worse. Sir, the humans have captured one of our dropships. They've been studying it for 3 hours. I just watched them launch it with human pilots who learned to fly it by watching our soldiers. General Hyunwoo felt something he hadn't experienced in decades of war. Doubt. All units fall back to the fleet. We'll bombardment from space. But as his ships tried to leave Earth's atmosphere, they discovered the humans had one more surprise waiting. Hidden missile bases all around the planet opened fire at the same time. The missiles weren't carrying nuclear warheads. They were carrying something much worse. Human soldiers who had volunteered to board the enemy ships. Within minutes, hegemony ships throughout the fleet were reporting boarding parties. Human soldiers with captured alien weapons were fighting their way through corridors that had never seen battle. Admiral Wu Jin watched everything from the star's edge, safe in space far from the fighting. Taemin, are you seeing this? Commander Taemin couldn't believe his eyes. Sir, a primitive species is somehow fighting the hegemony empire to a standstill. How is this possible? Captain Sora was studying her readings. Sir, I think I know why. Look at human brain activity during combat. Their stress responses don't shut down their thinking like other species. Stress actually makes them think faster and more creatively. On Earth, President Dayun stood in her war room surrounded by generals and scientists. The walls were covered with maps, battle reports, and captured alien technology that human engineers were already reverse engineering. Status report, she said calmly. Ma'am, we've captured 47 alien ships and taken over 600 prisoners. Our casualties are heavy, but we're holding every major city, and our scientists say they'll have working versions of alien weapons within 12 hours. Dayun nodded. Good. Send a message to the alien fleet. Tell them we're ready to negotiate. General Hyunwoo received the message and almost laughed. Negotiate? After 1 day of fighting, they want to negotiate. But when he read the full message, his laughter died. The humans weren't asking for mercy. They were offering to discuss the terms of the hegemony's surrender. Dr. Jae-sung had studied alien species for 30 years, but he had never seen anything like the human prisoners in his research lab. The captured humans sat calmly in their cells, not screaming or begging like most species would. Instead, they watched everything with sharp, intelligent eyes. Subject 17 stepped forward, Dr. Jae-sung said into his recording device. A human female named Maria walked to the front of her cell. She had been captured during the London fighting, but she showed no fear. You want to study me? Maria asked in perfect hegemony language. I've been studying you too. Dr. Jae-sung dropped his datapad. How do you know our language? You've only been here for 6 hours. Maria smiled. 6 hours is a long time when you're motivated to learn. Your guards speak to each other constantly. Your language follows simple patterns. It wasn't hard to figure out. That's impossible. It takes most species months to learn basic hegemony. Most species aren't fighting for their homeworld, Maria replied. When humans need to survive, we adapt fast. Dr. Jae-sung ran medical scans on Maria and several other human prisoners. What he found made no sense according to everything he knew about biology. Under stress, human brains actually worked better. Their bodies produced chemicals that made them stronger, faster, and more creative. "This is incredible," he told his assistant. "Look at these brain scans." When we put the humans in stressful situations, their neural activity increases by 40%. Most species shut down under extreme stress. Humans get smarter. Colonel Young-soo was having his own problems with human prisoners in the military section of the ship. He had captured a human soldier named David during the Beijing battle. David had been wounded badly, but he refused medical treatment until Young-soo answered his questions about hegemony military tactics. "Let me understand this," David said from his hospital bed. "You have faster-than-light travel, energy weapons, and personal shields, but you still use centralized command structures?" Young-soo was confused. "Of course. How else would we coordinate large military operations?" David laughed, then winced from his injuries. "That's why you're losing. Centralized command creates single points of failure. Our military units can operate independently. When you destroy one of our command centers, the others keep fighting. Your primitive communication system can't handle complex coordination," Young-soo argued. "Primitive?" David pulled out a small device that looked like a children's toy. "This is a standard human communication device. It can connect to any other device on the planet, access all human knowledge, and coordinate with military satellites. And we have 8 billion humans, each carrying one." Young-soo examined the device. It was much smaller and more efficient than hegemony military communicators. "How is this possible? Your technology is supposed to be centuries behind ours." "You keep saying that, but you keep being wrong," David said. "Just because we don't have faster-than-light travel doesn't mean we're stupid. We've been preparing for this day for 50 years. Preparing? How could you prepare for something you didn't know was coming?" David's expression grew serious. "Colonel, humans have been listening to galactic radio transmissions since we developed radio telescopes. We've known about the hegemony empire for 30 years. We've known about their expansion patterns, their military tactics, and their tendency to underestimate primitive species." Young-soo felt cold fear creep up his spine. "That's impossible. Our transmissions are encrypted. Your encryption is based on mathematical principles we solved decades ago. We've been studying your language, your technology, and your military operations for years. When your scouts arrived last month, we were ready. Commander Nara was monitoring human communications from the fleet's intelligence center when she made a discovery that changed everything. The humans weren't just defending Earth. They were coordinating a massive learning operation. "Sir, you need to see this," she told General Hyunwoo over the communication system. "The humans are sharing information about our technology across their entire planet in real time." "What do you mean?" "Every weapon we fire, every tactic we use, every piece of equipment they capture gets analyzed by thousands of human scientists simultaneously. They're treating this invasion as the galaxy's largest technology transfer." General Hyunwoo studied the data Nara had collected. Human research facilities across the planet were working together like a single massive brain. When humans in Tokyo learned something about hegemony shields, humans in New York immediately started building better versions. "How fast are they learning?" he asked. "Sir, yesterday they had chemical rockets. Today they launched 3 spacecraft using modified versions of our engines. At this rate, they'll have a space fleet within a week." Captain Dong-hyun had been monitoring space around Earth when he noticed something that made his blood run cold. "Sir, we have a problem." "A big problem? What now?" Hyunwoo asked, exhausted from constant bad news. "Sir, the humans have been tracking our fleet movements since we arrived. Not just the ships near Earth, all of them. Somehow they know the location of every hegemony vessel within 50 light years. That's impossible. Our ships are cloaked." Dong-hyun showed him the evidence. Human radio telescopes across Earth were all pointed at specific coordinates in space. Those coordinates perfectly matched the positions of hidden hegemony ships. "Sir, they've been mapping our fleet for hours. They know our ship types, our probable crew sizes, and our supply routes. They're not just fighting us. They're preparing to hunt us." Dr. Jae-sung made his most disturbing discovery yet when he studied human reproduction data. "General, I need to report something urgent about human biology." "More bad news, Doctor?" "Sir, humans reproduce faster under stress. Most species have fewer offspring when resources are scarce or danger is high. Humans have more. The invasion has actually triggered a population boom." Hyunwoo rubbed his temples. "How much more?" Sir, human birth rates have increased by 30% since we arrived. But more importantly, their maturation rate has also increased. Human children are developing faster and learning at accelerated rates. This species actually gets stronger when you attack it. The final piece of the puzzle came from Lieutenant Boram, who had been analyzing captured human equipment. Sir, I figured out how they're reverse engineering our technology so quickly. Please tell me it's something we can stop. Sir, humans don't just copy our designs. They improve them. Their brains are wired to see flaws and inefficiencies. Every piece of our technology they capture becomes a starting point for building something better. She showed him examples. Human-modified energy weapons that were smaller and more powerful than the originals. Human-built shields that used less energy and provided better protection. Human communication devices that worked faster and more reliably than hegemony military equipment. Sir, there's something else. The humans have been sharing all these improvements with each other instantly. Every innovation gets spread across their entire species within hours. It's like fighting an enemy that gets smarter with every battle. General Hyunwoo sat in his command chair, surrounded by reports of failure and impossible human achievements. In 3 days, a primitive species had gone from chemical rockets to capturing his ships. They had learned his language, copied his technology, and somehow turned his invasion into their own educational opportunity. Sir, Captain Minho reported from the surface. The humans are requesting another communication. What do they want now? Sir, they're not asking for anything. They're offering to share their improved versions of our technology with us. They say it's only fair since we shared it with them first. Hyunwoo stared at the message on his screen. The humans had taken hegemony weapons, made them better, and now wanted to give the improvements back to their enemies. It was the most insane thing he had ever heard. Sir, Nara said quietly, I think we need to consider the possibility that we've made a terrible mistake. What kind of mistake? Sir, I think we didn't invade a primitive planet. I think we just woke up the most dangerous species in the galaxy. On Earth, President Dayun stood in her war room, looking at a map that showed hegemony positions throughout local space. Her scientists had reverse-engineered faster-than-light communication in just 4 days. Her engineers had built working spacecraft using captured alien technology. Her military had gone from defending one planet to planning operations across multiple star systems. Ma'am, her chief of staff said, the alien fleet is requesting negotiations. Dayun smiled. Tell them we'll be happy to discuss terms. But the negotiations will take place on our ships with our rules, and we'll be asking them to surrender. Outside Earth's atmosphere, the first human-built starship prepared for its maiden voyage. It looked nothing like the elegant hegemony designs. It was crude, angular, and efficient, but it worked. And it was armed with weapons that no alien species had ever seen before. The age of human expansion was about to begin. Commander Taemin sat in his chair on the bridge of the massive ship called Star's Edge. The lights on his control panel blinked red and blue as reports came in from across the galaxy. He was tired. 3 wars in 5 years had worn him down, but this new report made him laugh. Sir, we have a message from the Hegemony Empire, said Captain Sora as she walked up to his chair. Her uniform was clean and pressed, just like always. She had fought in more battles than most soldiers, but she still looked ready for anything. Taemin took the datapad from her hands. His eyes moved across the screen as he read the words. They want to attack a planet called Earth? Where is that? Sora pulled up a star map on the big screen in front of them. A small blue dot appeared near the edge of known space. It's in the outer rim, sir. 3rd planet from a yellow star. The species there calls themselves humans. Humans? Taemin had never heard the name before. What do we know about them? Not much, sir. They're mammals like the Kalari. They walk on 2 legs and have no fur. The galaxy calls them rats because they make lots of babies and spread out fast. Sora touched her datapad and more information appeared on screen. They've been around for about 200,000 years but only developed space travel 50 years ago. Taemin looked at the numbers. 50 years? And the hegemony wants to fight them? The Empire says Earth sits on a major trade route they want to control. Also, the humans have been sending radio signals into space for the last 100 years. The Empire thinks they might become a problem later. The door to the bridge opened with a soft sound. Admiral Wu Jin walked in, his metals making small clicking noises with each step. He was old but still strong, with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Taemin, have you seen the hegemony's request? Wu Jin asked. Yes, sir. They want to take over a primitive planet. It seems like a waste of time and ships. Wu Jin nodded. I agree, but the council has already approved it. General Hyunwoo will lead the attack. He thinks it will take 2 weeks at most. Sora brought up more data about Earth. Sir, look at this. The humans still fight wars with chemical explosives. Their fastest ships use liquid fuel rockets. They can't even leave their own star system yet. The 3 officers looked at images of human cities, their primitive aircraft, and their small military forces. Taemin shook his head. This is like using a star destroyer to kill an insect. The humans do have nuclear weapons, Sora said, reading from her pad. But only about 10,000 of them. Our shields can stop those easily. Wu Jin walked to the big window that showed the stars outside. The Empire wants to make an example. Show other primitive worlds what happens when they don't join the hegemony willingly. Taemin felt uncomfortable about the whole thing. Sir, isn't there a law about attacking species that haven't developed faster than light travel yet? The hegemony found a way around that, Wu Jin said. They claim the humans sent aggressive radio signals toward Empire space. They're calling it self-defense, Sora laughed. Self-defense? Against a species that can't even reach their own moon regularly? A new message came through the communication system. The voice belonged to General Hyunwoo of the Hegemony War Fleet. This is General Hyunwoo to all council ships. We begin the Earth operation in 48 hours. Any council observers are welcome to watch. Taemin looked at his 2 officers. Should we go watch this? It might be good to see how the Empire handles primitive worlds. I think we should, Wu Jin said. But I have a strange feeling about this whole thing. What kind of feeling, sir? Sora asked. Something about the humans bothers me. Look at their history. Wu Jin touched the screen and brought up a timeline. They've been fighting wars for their entire existence. Not just small fights, but massive conflicts that kill millions. And they keep getting better at it. Taemin studied the human wars. They do seem to love fighting each other. That's not what worries me, Wu Jin said. What worries me is how fast they learn. Look at this. In just 100 years, they went from flying in small aircraft to building nuclear weapons. Their technology grows incredibly fast during wars. Sora pulled up more information. It says here that human population actually grows during stressful times. Most species have fewer children when things get dangerous. Humans have more. Interesting, Taemin said. But they're still using chemical rockets and metal bullets. Our energy shields will stop anything they have. A young officer ran onto the bridge. Sir, we just received detailed intelligence about Earth from Empire scouts. What did they find? Wu Jin asked. The humans are divided into about 200 separate nations. They fight each other constantly. Their largest military force has about 2 million soldiers, but they're spread across the whole planet. Most of their weapons are kinetic projectiles or simple explosives. Taemin relaxed. 2 million soldiers for an entire planet? The Empire is bringing 50 million troops. The scouts also report that most humans seem unaware that other intelligent life exists. The young officer continued. They think they're alone in the universe. Sora laughed again. This is going to be the shortest war in galactic history. But Admiral Wu Jin didn't laugh. He kept staring at the data about human conflicts. Look at this war they called World War II. 60 million humans died, but they kept fighting for 6 years. They never gave up, even when their cities were burning. That just proves they're too stupid to surrender, Taemin said. Maybe, Wu Jin said quietly. Or maybe it proves something else entirely. The bridge fell silent as they all looked at the small blue planet on the screen. Earth seemed so peaceful from space, with white clouds and blue oceans. It was hard to believe that billions of humans lived down there, completely unaware that their world was about to change forever. General Hyunwoo seems confident, Sora said. He's bringing 1,000 warships and calling it practice for his junior officers. Taemin made his decision. Set course for Earth. I want to see this for myself. As the star's edge turned toward Earth, none of them could imagine what they were about to witness. The humans down on that small blue planet were about to teach the galaxy a lesson about the difference between primitive and unprepared. General Subin commanded the hegemony's second fleet from her flagship, the Eternal Victory, stationed 3 star systems away from Earth. She had been monitoring the invasion with growing concern, but nothing prepared her for the message that came through faster-than-light communication. Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission from the Sol system, her communication officer reported. It's not from General Hyunwoo's fleet. Who else would be transmitting from there? Subin asked. Ma'am, the transmission is coming from a human vessel. They're speaking perfect hegemony and requesting permission to dock. Subin stared at the screen. A crude but functional ship appeared on her sensors, clearly built with human modifications to hegemony technology. How long ago did the invasion begin? 6 days, ma'am. 6 days and they've built starships? Subin felt a chill run down her spine. Deny docking permission and prepare for combat. But before her weapons could charge, 3 more human ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel around her fleet. They had appeared without warning, somehow avoiding all hegemony sensors. Ma'am, the human ships are powering up weapons I don't recognize, her tactical officer reported. Their energy signatures are completely unknown. The lead human ship sent another message. General Subin, this is Captain Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We're not here to fight. We're here to offer you a choice. Surrender now or face the consequences of continuing this war. Subin almost laughed. A primitive species is demanding my surrender? Open fire on all human vessels. Her fleet's energy beams lanced out toward the human ships, but instead of destroying them, the beams were absorbed by strange defensive fields that seemed to bend the energy around the ships. Ma'am, our weapons aren't working. The human ships are using some kind of adaptive shielding. That's impossible. Adaptive shielding is theoretical technology. Even we don't have that. Captain Chen's voice came over the communication again. General Subin, your weapons are based on focused energy beams. Our scientists spent 4 days studying them and found 17 ways to make them more efficient and 12 ways to defend against them. Would you like us to demonstrate? The human ships fired their own weapons, but instead of destructive beams, they sent precise electromagnetic pulses that shut down hegemony systems without destroying the ships. In minutes, Subin's entire fleet was floating dead in space. How did they do that? Subin whispered. Ma'am, they've somehow targeted our power systems with surgical precision. Our life support is still working, but everything else is offline. Admiral Kyung-ho was having even worse problems near the Rigel system. His supply convoy had been traveling a routine route when human ships appeared from nowhere. But these weren't the crude vessels that had attacked Subin's fleet. These ships looked advanced, sleek, and dangerous. Admiral, we count 15 human vessels, his scanning officer reported. They're using technology I've never seen before. How did they get here so fast? Earth is 8 light-years away. Sir, they're not coming from Earth. Long-range sensors show human ships emerging from asteroid belts throughout this system. They've been here for weeks. Kyung-ho felt his hands shake. Weeks? But humans only achieved faster-than-light travel 6 days ago. The lead human ship transmitted a message. Admiral Kyung-ho, this is Commander Sarah of the Terran Expeditionary Force. You are carrying supplies meant to support the invasion of our home world. Please prepare to be boarded. How do they know my name? Kyung-ho asked his crew. Sir, they seem to know everything about us. Ship names, crew manifests, cargo contents, personal information about every officer in the fleet. Human boarding parties didn't blast their way onto hegemony ships like invading pirates. They simply appeared in corridors, having somehow transported through shields that were supposed to be impenetrable. But they didn't kill the crew. Instead, they politely asked everyone to gather in cargo bays while they claimed the ships. This is Commander Sarah to Admiral Kyung-ho, came a voice from his own bridge. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll be taking your ships now, but we'll drop your crews off at the nearest hegemony station. Kyung-ho walked to his bridge to find a human woman sitting in his command chair, studying his ship's systems with obvious interest. How did you get here without triggering any alarms? Transportation technology, Sarah replied casually. Your shields are designed to stop matter and energy. They don't stop quantum-entangled particles. We learned that from studying your own communication systems. But transportation technology requires massive energy sources. Ships this size couldn't power it, Sarah smiled. Admiral, you keep assuming we're using your technology. We're not. We took your basic principles and rebuilt them from scratch. Human engineering follows different rules than yours. Captain Hai-Jin led a desperate attempt to escape the disaster spreading across the galaxy. Her fast courier ship, the Swift Arrow, was racing back toward hegemony space with news of the human threat. But as she prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, her navigation officer made a terrifying discovery. Captain, there are human ships waiting for us at every jump point. What do you mean, waiting? Ma'am, they know our route. They know where we're going before we decide ourselves. Somehow they've predicted our navigation choices. Jin looked at her star charts. The humans had positioned ships at every possible escape route. How is this possible? Our navigation computers use quantum encryption. Ma'am, I think they're not predicting our moves. I think they're making us choose the routes they want us to take. Before Jin could ask what that meant, her ship's computer began displaying new navigation options. Routes that hadn't been there moments before suddenly appeared as optimal choices. But when she studied them closely, she realized they all led toward human-controlled space. Ma'am, they're hacking our computers in real time. They're changing our navigation options to force us where they want us to go. Jin shut down all computer systems and tried to navigate manually. But without computers, her ship couldn't calculate faster than light jump safely. She was trapped. Dr. Jiwoo was studying human biology from a captured research station when he made the most disturbing discovery yet. Human mothers who had given birth during the invasion were producing children who developed at impossible speeds. This can't be right, he muttered, checking his data again. These human infants are showing cognitive development that should take years. His assistant, a young scientist named Dr. Yoon Ho, looked over his shoulder. Sir, what if this is normal human stress adaptation? What if their species literally evolves during crises? That would mean this invasion has triggered some kind of genetic acceleration. These children will grow up understanding galactic technology from birth. Dr. Jiwoo's hands shook as he realized the implications. We're not just fighting the current generation of humans. We're creating a generation of humans who will be born understanding our technology better than we do. Back on Earth, President Da-un stood in the newly constructed orbital command center. Through the massive windows, she could see dozens of human ships preparing for departure. Each one was headed to a different star system, carrying human colonists and advanced technology. Ma'am, our deep space reconnaissance has identified 47 habitable worlds within 50 light years, her chief of staff reported. All of them are either uninhabited or have small primitive populations. What about hegemony claims to those worlds? Ma'am, under galactic law, any species attacked without provocation has the right to claim territory from the aggressor as compensation. The hegemony's own laws give us legal ownership of any system we can take and hold. Da-un smiled. Then we'll take and hold all of them. How many ships are ready for departure? 200 ships ready now, ma'am. Our shipyards are completing 50 new vessels every day. At this rate, we'll have a fleet of over 1,000 ships within a month. And crews? Ma'am, we have 8 billion volunteers. Every human on Earth wants to be part of this expansion. We're having to turn people away. Admiral Sangmi received a priority message from Hegemony High Command as her defense fleet approached what should have been the front lines of the Earth invasion. Admiral, abort your mission and return to base immediately. Sir, I don't understand. We're here to support General Hyunwoo's forces. Admiral, there are no forces left to support. General Hyunwoo's fleet has been captured. General Subin's fleet has been captured. Admiral Kyung-ho's supply convoy has been captured. The humans now control more ships than the rest of our fleet combined. Sangmi stared at the message in disbelief. Sir, that's impossible. The invasion began only 1 week ago. Admiral, human forces are now attacking hegemony installations in 12 different star systems. They're not just defending Earth anymore. They're expanding across the galaxy. But sir, how did a primitive species conquer our fleet so quickly? Admiral, that's the wrong question. The right question is, what else are they capable of? As Admiral Sangmi's fleet turned away from Earth, long-range sensors detected something that made her blood run cold. Massive human construction projects were visible throughout the Sol system. Not just ships, but space stations, mining platforms, and what looked like orbital weapons platforms. Sir, how long do our analysts think it will take the humans to reach our core systems? Commander Seok Jin sat in chains aboard the human warship Defiance, watching his captors with growing understanding. The humans hadn't tortured him or demanded military secrets. Instead, they had given him comfortable quarters and asked him polite questions about galactic politics. Now, after 3 days of observation, he finally understood the truth. You planned this, he said to Captain Youngie, the human woman who commanded the ship. The invasion, the resistance, all of it. You wanted us to attack Earth. Youngie looked up from her datapad, where she was studying reports from human forces throughout the galaxy. Commander Seok-jin, you're very perceptive. Yes, we've been preparing for this moment for 30 years, but why? Why would you want to be invaded? Because, Commander, peaceful contact would have left us trapped in our own solar system forever. The galaxy doesn't welcome new species. You make them prove themselves through conflict. Youngie showed him a star map covered in red markers. Every expansion by every species in galactic history began with a war. Seok-jin stared at the map. Each red marker showed a star system now under human control. 63 systems in 2 weeks. You've conquered 63 star systems. Not conquered, Commander. Claimed. Under galactic law, we have the right to take territory from any species that attacks us without provocation. The Hegemony Empire gave us legal justification for everything we're doing. Legal justification? You're stealing our colonies. Youngie's expression grew cold. Commander, your empire tried to commit genocide against 8 billion humans. Every system we take prevents you from trying that again. On the planet Kepler 442b, formerly a hegemony agricultural world, human colonists were building their new city with impossible speed. President Inha had traveled here personally to oversee the establishment of humanity's first interstellar colony. Ma'am, the construction teams are ahead of schedule, reported Chief Engineer Binho. We'll have the basic infrastructure completed in 6 days. Inha watched massive machines reshape the landscape around them. These weren't the elegant terraforming devices used by other galactic species. They were crude, powerful, and effective human designs that worked faster than anything the galaxy had seen before. What about the former hegemony colonists? Ma'am, we've relocated them to comfortable facilities on the other continent. They're free to leave any time, but most have chosen to stay and work with us. Apparently, human colonial administration is much better than hegemony rule. A young aide approached with a communication device. Ma'am, urgent message from Earth. President Da-Yun's face appeared on the screen. Inha? We've received a formal communication from the Galactic Council. They want to negotiate. What are their terms? They're not offering terms. They're asking for ours. Fleet Admiral Sang-mi stood before the Galactic Council, the governing body of over 200 species, trying to explain how one primitive world had shattered the balance of power in local space. Honorable Council members, she said, her voice shaking slightly. The human species has proven far more dangerous than our initial assessments indicated. Council leader Tae-min, an elderly diplomat from a peaceful trading species, leaned forward. Admiral, our reports indicate that humans achieved faster-than-light travel only 2 weeks ago. How can they possibly threaten galactic security? Sir, they didn't just achieve faster-than-light travel. They perfected it. Human ships are now faster, more efficient, and more maneuverable than anything in our fleets. That's impossible. Admiral Sang-mi activated a holographic display showing recent battle reports. Sir, in 14 days, human forces have captured or destroyed over 600 hegemony ships. They've established colonies in 63 star systems, and they're still expanding. Council member Sura, a military strategist from a warrior species, studied the data. Admiral, these numbers suggest the humans have already built a fleet larger than most galactic powers. How did they accomplish this so quickly? Ma'am, humans don't follow normal development patterns. They share all technology instantly across their entire species. When one human learns something, they all learn it. Every innovation gets copied and improved by millions of individuals simultaneously. What is their current military capability? Admiral Sang-mi's hands trembled as she answered. Ma'am, based on our latest intelligence, human forces now include over 1,500 starships, orbital weapons platforms around 37 star systems, and military installations that dwarf anything we've seen before. The council chamber fell silent. Finally, Council Leader Tae-min spoke. Admiral, what are the humans demanding? Sir, they're not demanding anything. They're offering. Before Tae-min could ask what that meant, the chamber's communication system activated. President Da-un appeared on the main screen, speaking from what looked like a massive space station. Honorable members of the Galactic Council, Da-un said, her voice calm and confident. I am President Da-un of the United Earth Federation. I understand you wish to discuss the current situation. President Da-un, Council Leader Tae-min replied carefully. The Galactic Council is concerned about human expansion into hegemony territory. Council Leader Tae-min, human expansion is proceeding according to galactic law. The Hegemony Empire attacked Earth without provocation. Under Article 15 of the Galactic Accords, we have the right to claim compensation. President Da-un, surely there's a reasonable limit to such compensation. Da-un smiled. Council leader, the Hegemony Empire attempted to enslave 8 billion humans. We consider our current territorial claims quite reasonable. Admiral Sang-mi stepped forward. President Da-un, human forces are attacking civilian installations and displacing peaceful colonists. Admiral, human forces have strict orders to minimize casualties and provide safe relocation for all displaced populations. We're not conquerors. We're liberators. Liberators? Admiral, every former hegemony colony we visited has welcomed human administration. It seems your empire wasn't as popular with its subjects as you believed. Council member Sura interrupted. President Da-un, what are human intentions regarding further expansion? Da-un's expression grew serious. Councillor Sura, humanity has no aggressive intentions toward species that respect our sovereignty. However, we will continue expanding until we feel secure from future attacks. And when will that be? Councillor, humans learn from experience. The Hegemony Empire taught us that the galaxy is dangerous for isolated species. We will continue expanding until we're strong enough that no one will dare attack Earth again. Rear Admiral. Young-Soo was monitoring human fleet movements from his hidden observation post when he realized the true scope of human preparations. Sir, I need to report something that changes everything. What is it, Admiral? Came the reply from Hegemony High Command. Sir, human expansion isn't random. They're following a specific pattern. Every system they've claimed provides strategic advantage for further expansion. Explain. Sir, look at the star map. The humans haven't just taken the closest systems to Earth. They've taken systems that control major trade routes, resource-rich systems, and defensive positions that allow them to project power across entire sectors. Are you saying this expansion was planned? Sir, I'm saying this expansion was planned decades ago. The humans have been studying galactic politics and strategic geography for years. They knew exactly which systems to target before they ever left Earth. How is that possible? Sir, humans have been listening to our communications for decades. They know our trade routes, our strategic resources, and our defensive positions better than we do. The final piece of the puzzle came from captured human documents that revealed the true depth of human preparation. Captain Dong-Hyun translated the documents with growing horror. Sir, this is a human strategic planning document dated 15 years ago. It outlines exactly what's happening now. What does it say? Sir, it's titled Galactic Integration Protocol. It assumes that first contact with galactic civilization will be hostile. It outlines plans for rapid technological development, territorial expansion, and political integration with galactic government. They planned for war? Sir, they planned for everything. War, peace, trade, diplomacy, expansion, defense. Every possible scenario has been analyzed and prepared for. The document revealed that humans had been preparing for galactic contact since they first detected alien radio signals. They had studied every species, mapped every territory, and developed contingency plans for every possible situation. Sir, there's more. This document references something called Phase 2. What's Phase 2? Sir, Phase 2 begins when human territorial expansion reaches 100 star systems. According to this document, that's when they start offering alliance treaties to other species. President Da-un addressed the Galactic Council one final time as human territorial control reached the 100-system threshold. Council members, I'm here to announce the beginning of a new era in galactic politics. What kind of new era? Council Leader Taemin asked nervously. Council Leader, humanity is formally offering alliance treaties to every peaceful species in the galaxy. We propose a new galactic order based on mutual cooperation rather than imperial domination. And what about species that refuse your alliance? Taeyeon's smile was warm, but her eyes were cold. Council Leader, we hope all species,